Welcome to Creative Spaces Podcast with Guy Zwick, Chief Creative Officer of Highway 85 Creative. In each episode, we will discuss creative ways to define your space and build your brand.
My name is Rebecca McFarland. I'm the Vice President of Operations at ARC Media.
Okay.
I wear many hats at ARC Media.
Sure.
Anything between project managing, strategy, company direction, business and finance, little of everything.
The whole thing. Okay.
The whole thing. And what ARC Media does is we produce interactive media in the trade show industry, primarily in healthcare, but we work in other industries as well. We specialize in animation, touch screens, any digital media.
See, that's the thing. Like, is when I hear media, is it old school press media or is it media, digital media? People get, because I had the same. One of the conversations I had when I first met these guys was, you want to start your own graphic division, call yourselves Highway 85 Media, and it
right.
So the media, as in you guys produce actual digital content.
That's right. We really think about ourselves as digital storytellers.
Okay,
that's what we try to do.
In your guys' main vertical is the trade show, in the trade show space then?
It is primarily the trade show space, but we do other animations that are not shown on the floor. They might be website launch or
digital assets that are used elsewhere.
Exactly.
Okay. So, David, same question over to you. A little bit about yourself and anything else you can add to that wonderful answer.
That was a great answer, Rebecca. My name is David Pott, and I'm the president and one of the founders of ARC Media, which goes back 19 years now.
Right.
Been around for a while. We've been mostly devoted to trade show work.
Okay.
As Rebecca said, digital content creation, I guess, is the latest buzzword that describes what we do. But it's evolved over the years.
Yeah, now it's storytelling, right? Yeah.
Digital storytelling. We just did a presentation yesterday at ExhibitorLive on using data as a supporting tool for digital storytelling.
Really?
How to find the data that really supports a story that you can tell. And that's really important for us in healthcare
I would imagine.
clients. But we, in the presentation, we tried to apply that across the board using what we've learned in healthcare to talk to people in a more general sense about using data in their work.
Wow.
Because data's all over.
You can tell a lot of stories of numbers. You can tell a lot of stories of data. You and I can have the same set of numbers. I can paint a different picture. So in the healthcare side, like yesterday, was there some key takeaways to your presentation yesterday?
I hope so.
Yeah, well, if your wish list takeaway, what would it be? Like, what were you hoping they would take away?
Part of it, and actually Rebecca spoke about this, but the intersection of the data with the story, with the visual. So like the three components that are all important for finding the sweet spot, which is changing behavior. So you can have raw data, but it doesn't tell you anything.
Sure.
You can craft a narrative around that, and that'll get you a little further. But then you need to present it in a way that's compelling and attractive.
Would I have to have seen it to really get what you're saying right now? Was there slides?
There was a Venn diagram.
Okay.
You've seen one in every presentation.
No, that's okay.
But if you can imagine those three circles, it's the intersection of those three circles that we're going for. So it's not just about the raw data. The raw data is great, but it needs to be crafted into a story.
Yeah, numbers are numbers, right?
Yeah. And you can, truly, as you said, you can make numbers say whatever you want them to say.
So a big part of the healthcare side, healthcare digital storytelling products you give on the healthcare side is in this realm of sort of making more poignant the facts that are in front of them?
Absolutely, yeah. Because there's just so much information. There's our clients are engaged in clinical trials. There's data coming out of clinical trials. How effective are these drugs that are in development? They're in the research process.
Okay.
And so they want to tell a story about these products. So we have to look at the data and make sure that we're crafting a story that is compelling and that is interesting to people. That people actually care about. What does the audience care about is really kind of the bottom line.
Well, I was just going to add that regardless of the industry, it doesn't have to be healthcare. This is true in telecommunications, automotive, whatever service or product you're offering, is that you want people to come into your booth at a trade show or a congress or whatever your industry calls it, and you want them to leave having had an experience of what you offer. The attendee is the hero, right? They're the person who we're guiding as exhibitors.
If a big part of your business is helping brands at trade shows better tell their story, So you've been around the trade show industry for a while then, yes?
Yes.
What are you thankful for? Trade show-wise, what are you most thankful for? If the trade show industry could change something to improve upon how it does things, what would it be? Because that's a question that everybody has a thought on, right, Sean? If I asked you that question, what would you say?
Oh, wow.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one.
A lot of the folks we ask that question talk about communication between the exhibitors, like the people who build the booth, and then the people who work the booth. You guys are a vendor, your constituent. Are you, after the fact, that you asking, do you get feedback on the performance, that kind of stuff? So it's a lot of people say the communication on things, and I don't know. It's a tough question to answer. If something pops up in your mind, I'd love to hear.
Well, I think a lot of that, sure, communication could always be better, but that's not a fault of the industry. I mean, the industry, and we're not experts in the trade show industry. It's really interesting to be here and see, all these flooring manufacturers and, flower people and,
logistics,
and
everything was specific
to trucking and shipping and all of this stuff. And so, we're not involved in all of that. But if we could take it back to our client base, yes, we want to have a smooth experience among the exhibit company that's designed and built or is in the process of designing and building an exhibit space, and thinking about all the spatial aspects of that and how's the traffic going to flow through it, and what are where are the engagement points and that sort of thing. And then as we come into that process, ideally we would like to work with the exhibit company to create that space, and so that the space is designed around the interaction.
You're just not plugging and playing. You're immersing them, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. The team collaboration piece of it. Again, I think that's the thing I'm the most thankful for, but also the thing that I always want us to be influencing, right? To look at how do we make that better. Some companies have all of their design in-house. They have their builders in-house, they have their content people in-house, and they have the same challenges. Is how do I get all these people on the same page saying the same message? So the designers aren't working in a vacuum, and then the content people come in and say, like, this doesn't fit on that.
I always thought that if everybody had enough Sam Adams, it would all be better. Even if it's not, they think it is, right? So it's kind of a win
Perception.
On both sides, right? So is a lot of your engagements for your clients through an exhibit house? Do you guys go direct right now?
We do some of each, but most of it comes through our exhibit partners.
Okay.
So that's a big part of why we're here today. We
want to meet more exhibit partners.
Yeah, we want to see what people have, who's out there, and we want to find people to work with.
Did you exchange contact with Guy and the team yet here? I'm sure you did. Okay, well, you should. We would.
Yeah, we will. Maybe you could hook us up with
Absolutely.
Yes.
I know some people. Sean is too. But actually their shop in Phoenix is they're expanding. They have a big. They do a lot of stuff in house when they're not outsourcing a lot. You're the production manager director. You do everything,
all
right?
graphics. Right now I'm doing 3D design also.
Die cut stuff.
Yeah,
There's not too much. You even do welding in house. You guys
we do welding
custom
in-house.
furniture
Pretty much
building.
a little bit of everything. So we're just kind of. We could use a partner like you guys.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what we like to do.
Is most of your work on the East Coast? You guys ever spread around or?
Most of our clients are on the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we've had clients in California. We've had clients in the Midwest. So
right on.
everything is so digitally and oriented, and
it's smaller.
It doesn't really matter.
True.
We're working with a great client in Texas right now too. So
how did you get that Texas client?
Well,
he used to live in New Jersey.
Right. Relationships. Right. That's it. Relationships.
I'm off the Parkway. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Well, I was born and raised in Ohio.
Okay.
A small town called Wapakoneta in west central Ohio.
And then
I moved to the Berkshires in western Massachusetts 30 years ago. So I've actually lived in Massachusetts longer than I lived in Ohio, but you can't take away those formative years.
No,
it's the heartland, right? That's what they call Ohio.
There it is. So I think, trade show wise, obviously we've had that question, but anything else you guys want to tell me about Arc Media as we produce this segment and sort of as a leave behind, as a digital or audio leave behind for your would-be customers?
I was having a conversation with Daniel while we were waiting, and he was asking about the challenges in our work in the industry, and one of them that I brought up is the use of technology.
Right.
And we talk about this all the time because everybody wants the latest and greatest technology, and that's not where you should start the process of telling a story. The technology is there.
I just can't tell my story with these new LED walls. I can't just do that. I can't start with that.
Well, if we're forced to, we will.
Yeah, you can incorporate it,
but it would be really nice to choose that, to select that LED wall after we know what the story is and after we know what the messaging is, and we've crafted, we've designed the interaction.
I'm with you.
We are seduced by technology every day, and especially in this industry.
Absolutely.
Well, not especially, but just like everywhere else, this industry is.
No, but specifically, you're going to have the newest toy, the newest trick, and it's hard because listen, CEO says, I got to have that.
Yeah.
So you left with one of those big mansions where you have this small little house with pillars. It's just, it doesn't look. I mean, if you got to stay in your lane sometimes, I think, but that's interesting.
So that's something that we like to talk about all the time. Is don't tell us about how many screens there are, or what cool new technology you'd like to use, or don't ask us what the latest cool technology is that we would recommend, because we need to have that conversation first, and we need to do our creative work, and we need to develop and design the story, the engagement, the interaction. What are the goals? Who are we trying to reach? Who's the audience? What is the goal of the messaging? What do we want? What behavior do we want to?
Yeah, you don't storyboard until those answers are there, and then you go around it. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sorry.
Maybe it's a video, maybe it's an interactive piece, maybe it's something on an iPad, maybe it's some sort of amazing game that could be played in a space. Maybe it's a virtual reality or 360 video.
So that's part of your remit as well, not just video production. Is a small piece of animation or
anything that happens in a trade show booth that's related to the story of the messaging.
Interesting. Now, if I went to the website ourmediainc.com, would I find some samples of what you guys have done?
Yes, you see our portfolio section where we have a handful of samples up there, and our animation reel that shows snippets. A lot of our work, like we've said, is in healthcare, so it's kind of like less is more. There's some stuff we can't show 100%. Because of regulation.
How do people find you guys? How did you start developing the business? Like right at this point, outside of partnerships now, like how do people find you? How did you get going?
It's a small world, really.
Yeah, okay.
We have a bit of a niche in healthcare.
Okay.
And, amongst our client base, people move from one company to another.
Sure.
And as Rebecca said, it's the relationships, that bring us along, and we'll meet new people, and our business expands certainly, but it's based on just knowing people and word of mouth.
And I'm not just spitting rhetoric here. I believe it. It's the whole thing where, like, if you have a good product, if you're a good product and you're a good person, that's everything for the most part, and then you just hope it comes back. Like you know what I mean? Word of mouth is huge, but you don't have word of mouth on the positive side unless you have a good product.
That's right, and I think that's one of the things that I would say to answer your question earlier about ARC Media and what would we want you to know is we have an incredible team. Everyone that works with us is really vested.
I mean, outside of you guys, your team's really good?
I mean, we're amazing, but everyone else is even more amazing, if you can believe it. I don't lie well at all. So we really do have great people working with us who care a lot about what they're doing and really want to do quality work, and that shows up day in and day out with the stakeholders that they make themselves.
So your studio is in Great Barrington then?
We are somewhat virtual, and
gotcha.
we have a central office in Great Barrington, and Rebecca and I work in that office.
Right.
That's our headquarters essentially. But we have people in Philadelphia,
all right,
and we have people in Boston.
All right.
Thank you for reaching out to us and for this chance to sit and talk with you fine folks.
Well, you're welcome.
Great what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thanks. It was great to meet you both.
Yeah,
sincerely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to Creative Spaces Podcast. For more information about Highway 85 Creative, visit us at highway85creative.com.